how it works. So a little tongue-tied, rise the expansive spirit of form, where 12 upholds the supreme, the fourth dimensional spiritual transcend the limiting logic of linear time that we may expand into radial time. See, I told you I was going to get all tongue twisted. We are called to sensitize to the spiritually synchronized symphony of universal movement as it plays and unfolds the unique music of every moment. We are invited to consciously feel the interconnectedness of all life, to be present to the spirit which moves through all manifestations, guiding all arrangements of space and configurations of consciousness. We discover that we are always inherently on time by knowing we are time. As the climax of the wave spell's progression, tone 13 can embody qualities of any of the previous tones. 13 is the key to time itself: presence, simple, patient awareness, receptivity to exactly what is occurring as it is occurring. Presence bestows of the moment. We commune with the vastness of self, the essence self, which opportunity to transcend seeming limitations, to elevate our thoughts and behaviors beyond conditioned responses. By orienting in celebrated opportunity for personal clarity and growth, we transform our suffering or striving into the beauty of human evolution, honoring life as an eternal journey of being. As the tone of endurance, 13 is the force of the continuum. Ever onward life unfolds, integrating all that has gone before. Here we trans to one for a new way, and accept things as they are. And the more that you can embody that energy, the easier life will be for you. Okay, the month of July will start feeling more guided to take action. You'll slowly start emerging from the last several months of dramatic changes and shifts, feeling newly inspired to welcome new things into your life, to replace the old things that you left behind or that were ripped out. This will be if you either, thankfully this month brings more events happening in homes, housing, real estate, family, parents, work, career, and your sense of purpose, and what that collation, constant childhood experiences. And if you're interested in learning whether or not you have ACEs, which is adverse childhood experiences, you can take the quiz. One of my best friends, Marcel, victims of childhood trauma, sexual assault, facilitates workshops for everyone from juvenile detention centers, businesses, schools, and everything in between that you can imagine. So check out her website after you take the quiz to see how she may be able to help you. Either way, I feel like check out the quiz. You will be surprised at just how much trauma you may have experienced and not even realize how those situations have impacted you. It's very, very, very enlightening. So definitely check it out. And those of you that are watching the recorded version of this tomorrow or the next day, I will put the link in the description box. I told you guys I cannot talk today. Description box, comments, or bio, depending on what platform you're using to watch. Again, I highly recommend that you check it out. It's very enlightening. And, you know, if you've experienced anything in your youth that could be affecting your own behaviors and who you allow in your life right now, it's totally worth it to see, because it's going to help you gain some insight into yourself and how you can change in order to kind of let go of the past and allow better, healthier things into your life. Towards the end of the month, it will be much easier to make decisions about opportunities and other situations that may have happened over the course of the eclipse period. You'll feel energized from the end of July and first half of August, where there won't be as many personal planets in retrograde. So it's kind of this sense of relief. We maybe go from a feeling of having been feeling kind of lazy and lethargic and not motivated to doing anything to all of a sudden like the floodgates open and you just want to get things done. But you still need to, you know, not act in haste, really think things through before you act on them. Lastly, for July, we could see some issues with water. I feel like maybe different parts of the world will be dealing maybe with some flooding or heavy rain. You could even see something like a pipe bursting or your tub overflows or anything water related. Maybe you fall into a pool or, I don't know. It's something with water was coming up big time for me. So I just thought I would throw that out there. All right, let's get into what you can expect from today, June 30th, through to July 14th as an overall theme, and then areas of love, work, finances, health, and spirituality. You could see some exciting life changes, more like life-changing events with new opportunities brought on by your willingness to do something differently. You have to want to act and behave differently. You want to have to try something in a new way. So if you're willing to do that and you're open to doing that, well, then there's going to be some really exciting things that could come into your life, a lot of great opportunities. On the downside, pain from the past could come up this week to be felt and dealt with. You'll be able to resolve this within yourself. I highly recommend that you allow yourself to feel and really be with whatever's coming up versus you projecting it outward. So I don't feel like it's something that in this week or two you would need to go discuss with anyone just yet. I feel like you've got to wrap yourself around what's coming up first and allow yourself to feel and be with what is, whatever is coming up for you. Lots of release happening with pain surrounding mothers and fathers or the people who played those roles in your life. Again, more things around family, career, and home life coming up. High emotions, lots of emotions, our favorite thing, emotions. There's a caution with making rush decisions or speaking before thinking. Again, all things tied to emotionally reactive patterns of behavior. And you may have already been experiencing this stuff. This is probably already been coming up for most of you within the last 2 weeks or so, and even more so in the last week, because July 5th with this Cancer eclipse Capricorn series, there's just lots of emotional stuff coming up and causing a lot of people to emotionally react to certain things, especially if that's a pattern of behavior that you've had. You'll have an opportunity to learn from past mistakes in relationships, self-esteem, money, and anything else tied to Venus. Similar choices will come back around. Will you choose the same as last time and repeat mistakes? I hope not. Pay attention to your motivations. There's going to be a lot of cyclical stuff that's happening right now, and it's going to show up in different ways, but it's going to be the exact same stuff disguised in different clothes or a different situation. But ultimately, it's going to trigger things that you should have already learned over the last 18 months. And if you haven't, then you're going to be repeating some lessons. As Mercury retrograde starts to move forward again around July 12th, you could see an extra flare-up of communication issues, technology issues, and travel issues. And again, these are things that we're already seeing, but I just kind of feel around that date, it's just going to be heightened. Lots of creative energy coming through as well, and you will feel like you're in the flow, or like you feel one with all of creation. You're kind of in this Zen bliss space. Mental, emotional, and physical breakthroughs, self-expression will be at an all-time high as well. Tests will be coming to see how much you've grown with mastering your own emotions and reactions. Anything you have strong emotional attachments to could come up to be dealt with and cleared. Lots of karmic energies to be balanced out. And guilt may also flare up. So, guilt is also just an uncomfortable feeling. So that may trigger some of you as well. And, just feel what you need. And, these tests are opportunities to shift things. And the words flip it over come to mind from one of my Oracle card decks. And basically what that card represents is it's time to flip something over and turn it right side up. And this could be a situation, a perception, a relationship, an old way of doing things, or your entire life, right? So just craziness could be coming up here for everyone. Sorry, multitasking here really quick. Okay. Since that deck came to mind, I decided to pull two cards, and the first one is called Queen of Queens. The Queen of Queens is the ultimate true woman. You are now stepping into that part of your being that embodies dignity, elegance, compassion, love, deep wisdom, and natural true authority. Or a Queen of Queens is already in your life who brings you love and wisdom. She encourages you to be yourself, or your true self. Or a Queen of Queens will soon be entering your life. It may be someone you already know or someone totally new. Who knows? Perhaps it's a combination of all of these, right? And I kind of feel like a lot of people are going to experience a combination. The other card that I pulled is surrender. And surrender is the letting go of an established position, of control, of a relationship, a belief, or of something that you have long held onto. We always have the choice whether to surrender gracefully or forcibly. And surrender is usually preceded by subtle hints that it's time to let go. Often we ignore these subtle hints, thinking that they'll simply disappear or go away with the passing of time, or we don't trust that it's our intuition or our higher selves or the divine communicating with us. And instead, those little subtle messages end up growing even stronger until the call to surrender becomes unavoidable. And if we still don't choose to make a conscious surrender, then what we are holding on to is often ripped away from us in a dramatic, sometimes devastating manner. And this is why it's always preferable just to surrender gracefully as soon as you discern the first subtle hints that a surrender is imminent, right? That you need to let go of something. And surrender requires 100% from us. And it always leads to major breakthroughs. And drawing this card indicates that either you need to release something or that it's time to surrender to something by putting your full being into it. And I've experienced this in my life multiple times. The last time when I ignored the subtle hints to start my intuitive coaching business, I fell into a shallow end of a swimming pool and dislocated my heel and was forced to be bedridden for months with nothing more to do than deal with an employer who was less than understanding, deal with my fears, deal with my insecurities, and only to finally come to the realization that I needed to put my authentic self out to the world. And needless to say, here I am. And I always joke that God smacked me upside the head to get me to fall. And I thank God every day that I did. So if you can hold the perspective that from destruction comes renewal, it will make challenges easier to embrace. And sometimes we just have to be forced to change, especially when we're stubborn about it. But my advice is listen to those subtle hints, because now that I have, it has made my life so much easier. All right, work. For those of you employed, I'm feeling lots of changes here. Some by choice, some not. I'm also feeling arguments and conflict. I feel like this time period would be best used for long-term planning in the pursuit of your career happiness. And these times are uncertain, and out-of-the-box thinking will do best. I don't necessarily feel like the next 2 weeks is a time for action and making huge changes. Obviously, if you have to, go for it. But if it's not necessary and you can really kind of think about things and get a game plan together, that's going to work in your best interest. And that applies to business owners and, all things work related. Those of you that are looking for work, it's hit or miss. Some are going to get fantastic new jobs while others just can't seem to catch a break. Don't get discouraged. Your time is coming. Love. Those of you in committed relationships and dating someone seriously, unfortunately, I just kind of feel like there's going to be some breakups. I see assumptions and jumping to conclusions. I see others working on their communication with each other to strengthen and deepen the relationship, and it has the real potential to do that if you're both communicating with each other in a healthy way and really listening and responding, right? Not thinking about what you're going to say before the other person completes what they're saying. And then I feel others are finding their voice, lots of action in either trying to salvage and improve your relationship or working to end it. So it's kind of make or break it time. Those of you that are single and dating, I see lists and clarity and action around what you want and what you need, and then you're putting yourself in places or situations to find your ideal match. And I also see assumptions and jumping to conclusions for you guys as well. So, to me, that refers to giving people a chance. Not, sometimes we get a little blindsided when we have our lists of demands that we want when it comes to relationships, and we end up limiting ourselves instead of being open enough to see certain qualities that, some things people can work on and change. Finances. Some will see improvement, some will see the opposite. Those of you that have been struggling financially, I see improvement for you guys. Those that have been kind of skating through this time period and doing really well, I'm seeing the opposite, and I feel like those are the people that might have some unexpected expenses that are coming up. For the most part, I feel like financially things are stagnant. It's ebb flow right now. This is not a time for risky investments over the next 2 weeks, so keep that in mind as well. In the area of health, stress. I'm feeling lots and lots and lots of stress. So, figure out what you can do to relieve some stress, whether it's exercise, sleeping, eating healthy. I also feel it's important that you're paying attention to what you're doing, where you're walking, your surroundings, really be present in the moment. And there is a good caution about drugs and alcohol. It's going to be easy to overconsume or drink your pain away or take drugs to basically escape the emotions and the things that are coming up. So do your best not to do that, because that's just masking things and it's not helping you. It's just not going to help you. If you're going to do drugs and alcohol, do it because it's fun. No, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. But it should be more of a social thing, not because you're suppressing your emotions and your feelings and your pain, right? So balance that out. Just be mindful of it. Spirituality. New understandings and insights may come to you in the blink of an eye, and tons of victim consciousness energy that's coming up to be healed and released, and this is directly tied to the childhood traumas and things that you experienced after childhood traumas. Do the work. I promise you'll feel so much happier, lighter, freer, connected, in tune, in love, at peace. Look, I've been dealt some shitty situations in my life, but I get through it by taking responsibility for my choices in all things that happen to me and forgiving myself and others. So do the work. You'll be better off for it. I'm sending you guys lots of positive energy and lots of positive vibes. Go check out the ACEs quiz, and I look forward to catching up with you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, Enlightening Television. Welcome. Time for Amanda Hall Psychic with Amanda Hall. Live from AmandaHallPsychic.com.au. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, Facebook.com/Psychic Radio. Or one of our websites, AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Amanda Hall Psych on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV for the Amanda Hall Psychic Show, all the way from the Gold Coast in Australia. I hope you've had the person themselves has the most healing to do. It's nicknamed the Wounded Healer as the planet, and it's sort of not so much indicating where the weakness is in your chart. It's where you need to do your most healing. So yes, for many people now, you can look up your chart online and you can sort of see where the planets are or what energy they're in. But Chiron is one of those very slow moving sort of planets, and it sort of is asking each and every one of us to take a long, hard look at what we need to heal in ourselves. Now, Chiron is in the actual sign of Aries at the moment. He will be going retrograde until about December 12th this year. So we've still got a very long transit of Chiron going backwards or retrograde. So when a planet goes backwards or retrograde, it means that in a sense its energy intensifies. It doesn't mean that it sort of goes to sleep and we don't have to do anything about it. If anything, I think it's asking us to understand the energy of the planet and what's happening in our lives even more so. So with Chiron being the wounded healer and Chiron being in Aries, the first planet, the first sign of the zodiac, the beginning of everything. Now, the Aries energy is supposed to be about me first, and did I tell you about me first? So Chiron's asking each and every one of us to attempt to heal what is broken inside of us. Now, that could be something that relates back to your childhood. It could be something that relates to a broken relationship or distance between you and a family member, or a falling out that you may have had with a very, very close friend. It could be just asking you to heal the things that have gone wrong in your life, the things that you can no longer really fix and you can't change. There's many things that happen to each and every one of us as individuals as we go through our lives that we hang on to, that, you know, we were very hurt or upset at the time, and we tend to sort of hang on to that, and it's what becomes baggage. Now, this is what Chiron is asking us to heal. Now, in my experience, and I've been in this sort of work for a very, very, very long time now, the one thing I have learned is that we all have baggage. I don't care who you are and how much work you've done on yourself. We still have some tucked away somewhere. And it's now is the time that we bring that out into the light. We look at it, we own it. We look at what we can gain from it. Did we learn any lessons from it? And probably the most important thing to do is now release it. If there's nothing that we can do to fix it, heal it, or make it better, then maybe we've just got to release it and say, well, the answer is there is no answer, or there is no conclusion that I'm going to be happy with, but I'm going to release it from my soul. I'm going to release it from my body so that then finally I can come to terms with it. There's lots of things in life that we can't change. And one thing I've learned, we can't change another person. People only modify their behavior or make changes themselves because they're not happy themselves with the way that they are behaving as an individual or as a human being. No other human being has the right or has the power to change someone else. That's a very individual thing. So once we learn that and understand that and accept that, I think it makes us much more tolerant as human beings. Now, there's enough things going on in the world at the moment and enough people we can point fingers at and blame and say they should have done this or they should have done that. But individually, we all have to take some responsibility in these very uncertain times with this pandemic that's going on, look at what we can control. Now, the number one thing that we can control as an individual human being is look at our day-to-day habits. And I don't wish to sound like a broken record or all those messages that are jammed down your throat in all forms of media every day, but it really is up to us to take some responsibility. And the one thing that we can all be responsible for is ourselves, is that we can make sure that we're constantly washing our hands. We can make sure that if we walk outside our front door, that we have a mask with us in case that we can't social distance, that we can pop the mask on. We can not only protect ourselves, but we're protecting the other person. Isn't that the most important thing, is that we're going to look after the other person? We don't know what germs we may have that we're sharing with them. And, you know, it may not be the greatest fashion statement to pop a face covering on your face, but hey, isn't it better than ending up very sick or dead? I think, you know, it's a small price to pay. And I think we also have to err on the side of caution. Let's have some common sense. If you're going to go out, or you need to go out and you need to go somewhere where there's going to be lots of people, make sure you take your hand sanitizer with you. Try and social distance as much as you can. Wear your mask. Don't do silly things. And if we all do that, then we've got a chance, I think, of getting on top of this COVID-19. And maybe then, just maybe, we've got a chance of eradicating it. We can't just all sit there and say, oh dear, hurry up and get a vaccine. Even if they discover one today, it's still going to be a very long time before the world can be vaccinated against this horrible disease. And the thing is, you know, we know it's a novel coronavirus. Who's to say that if we beat this one, that there isn't another one just lurking in the shadows, ready to overtake where COVID-19 leaves off? So I feel this is what Chiron in Aries is asking all of us to do, is to take responsibility for ourselves. And by taking responsibility for me, I am then being able to take responsibility for how I interfere or how I interact in your world. And that's a really special thing, to know that my actions can make a difference for you. Now, Chiron is also conjunct the planet of Mars. Now, Mars is the planet of action. Mars is also the planet of war. The last thing we want is the world to go into some sort of war. And I know there's a lot of unrest going on in the world at the moment, and particularly as the way the Chinese are handling Hong Kong. And a lot of people are very upset about that. And rightly so. We're supposed to be heading towards peace and everybody being equal. We have a lot of unrest around the world with the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think it's about time that we started to sort of acknowledge that more, that no matter which part of the world we live in, all of our Indigenous brothers and sisters deserve to be treated the way as we Caucasians are. We are not a superior race. It's time that we all join together as one. So before I wrap up the astrology, yes, we've still got Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn all sitting in Capricorn, all doing their dance there, all sort of working on the pandemic, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's global warming, or whether it's our governments. And I know many of you are tuning out. You're sick to death of hearing what your local politicians and leaders have to say about things, because a lot of the time the stuff that comes out of their mouths are dribble, and that sort of seems to be a uniformed practice around the world. It's not just isolated to your area of the world, let me assure you. But I feel that we now have an opportunity over the next few months to try and get on top of this pandemic if we all start to work together. So this week I've drawn the candle out called Manifest. And the reason why I chose Manifest was I felt collectively as a globe, if we all lit a candle together, and it doesn't necessarily have to be my Manifest candle, but if we all collectively light a candle together and try and manifest some common sense in the world, try and manifest that maybe that all the world leaders are going to get on the same page and we can beat COVID-19 together as a globe. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing? But I feel it's like the power of prayer. If we all manifest together the similar type of energy, then maybe, just maybe, that energy will start to permeate through our world leaders, and maybe we'll just start to see some answers. Instead of them all squabbling and fighting amongst themselves and all being, look at me, aren't I the most important, powerful leader in the world? maybe they'll get on with the job of trying to help the globe itself heal and find ways forward through this pandemic and start to look at the reasons why we're having a pandemic and what we need to do about it, not so focused on finances. Yes, finances make the world go round, but if we're all sick, we can't spend the money and we can't make the money to keep the economy going around the globe. So we need to heal first. That's the most important thing. So that's why I've chosen the Manifest candle. So in the gift box set, I've got obviously Manifest. I've got my angel in the sky, which I said until such time as we get a resolution to this pandemic, which I think is going to be a long way off yet, I'll continue to burn my angel on the sky on the set. I also have the healing candle because I still believe the world's got to heal in every possible way, and not just from this pandemic. I think we've got to heal the way that we think. We've got to start looking at things in a very different way and stop being so self-centered and self-absorbed. We've got to start thinking about me first, and then what can I do for you? And in that way, I think we will manage to heal the planet and we will start to heal the world. So let's hope that this is the start of a completely different direction where we're finally going to start to see our leaders leading for a change instead of being so self-absorbed. We can always live in the power of positivity. And we're going to talk to Brittany. Brittany's in Springfield, Ohio. Are you there, Brittany? Hello, Brittany. Well, it looks like we haven't got Brittany for the moment, so I'll keep talking. So just on the retrograde planets, we've got, as I said, Chiron's going to be retrograde until December this year. So we've still got a long time to sort of heal ourselves and try and heal the wounded child within us. We also have Neptune, the planet of illusion and delusion, is retrograde until November. So Neptune is in the planet in the energy of Pisces, which that's the energy that Neptune rules. So Neptune feels very comfortable there. So we've got Neptune retrograde till November. So we've still got a few things to come out. So it'll be interesting to see how the elections unfold in the US with Neptune retrograde till well and truly after that. We have Brittany now in Ohio. Are you there, Brittany?
Hello.
Hi, Brittany. Do you have a question I can answer for you, sweetie?
Well, my Nana passed away back about 5 years ago, and here recently I heard her say my name, and I was just wondering what that might have been about.
Okay. When people that are close to us pass away, they find their own individual way, Brittany, of making contact with us. And sometimes it's just that they don't necessarily have a specific message or some life-threatening event that they want to warn us about. They just want you to know that they're there. And by Nana saying your name, she just wanted to get your attention. She wanted you to acknowledge that she's still with you. Even though she can't come and physically sit down at the kitchen table and have a meal with you, she's still around you. She's still, got you in her thoughts. She's still guiding you. So, don't be frightened by something like that. It's actually a very special gift when they're able to make connection like that you can hear their voice, and it's a voice that you can recognize, and they're saying your name or saying your parents' name. That's a really special thing. Not everybody gets that opportunity when they do connect with the other side to hear a physical voice like that. So that's very, very special, sweetie. She's just letting you know she's around. So has there been a lot of changes this year? And I'm not just talking about because of the pandemic that's going on, but was there change going on in your life prior to that, Brittany?
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
Yeah, and I just sort of feel that Nana's she's standing there and she's got her arms out towards you and she's just saying, it's okay, darling, I'm here. I'll help you. I'll guide you through this. So, if you're really troubled about something, have a conversation with her out aloud before you go to sleep of a night. And if you call a Nana, say, Nana, this is what's going on and I really don't know which way to go. And I'd appreciate if you've got some insight or, you want to chip in with some advice, just put the idea in my head first thing in the morning and I'll know that's from you. And that gives them a clear direction on how that they can contact you and how that they're helping and they're guiding you. because, you've got to understand it's really difficult for them on the other side to be able to sort of make a connection with us that we can acknowledge that is them. And that's the method that I use. I ask out aloud before I go to sleep, and I ask for them to put it into my head upon waking. And then I know that's directly from the person that I've requested some help from or some guidance from. And, it might seem a peculiar answer at the time, but write it down because it will make sense. We don't always get a yes or no answer to the question. We might get something that's random or abstract and we think, well, that didn't really answer anything. But, they're not allowed to control us. But what they can do is help us, is guide us and give us some insight. Ultimately, the choices that we make here on earth are still ours, Brittany. But I know she's still with you and she loves you. And she sent me the most beautiful big pink heart. So you're still very much in her heart. So enjoy your night, Brittany, and know that Nana's with you all the way.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Brittany, and good luck with the changes that are coming up, sweetie. You are on the right track. Just keep going.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. We're going to talk to Toby in Fort Myers in Florida. Are you there, Toby? Hello, Toby.
Hello?
Hello, Toby. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sweetie. I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Do you have a question? Good. Do you have a question I can work with, please, sweetie?
Just kind of wondering how things are going to go for me because everything seems to be falling apart for me right now.
Okay. All right. I can tune into that for you, Toby. Yes, look, I feel that there's many endings, changes and transformations around you, and not just because you're in one of the world hotspots at the moment for the virus. I feel in your personal life there's a lot of change there. There's a lot of things there, Toby, that are coming to the surface that I'm going to say that are making you feel quite emotional. Now, look, I don't want to say to you don't own that. I do think that you've got to own it and work through it. But I also want to suggest to you, don't let it weigh you down. If something comes to the surface and you feel upset or you feel teary about it, let the tears flow, go and wash your face and say, right, that's done. Now let's move on to the next thing. Because I feel by as early as to August, we're going to start to see things really sort of starting to come together. There's a much more clearing coming to the things that have been troubling you and with the changes that have been going on. It's like some of it's been incredibly hard. Some of it you just sort of wished you didn't even have to confront or deal with. And then there's little bits and pieces through this that's relatively easy. But overall, what it's doing is clearing out the trash in your life and sort of getting you into a much stronger position so that as we move into the month of August, life will start to become a lot easier. It's like the pathway starts to clear. I can see the directions that I need to go. I can see what I need to retain for the, moving forward. But I can also see what I need to release. Has there been a little bit of a health issue there earlier in the year, Toby, that you just finally feel you're starting to get on top of now?
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah, good. Because I want to see you continue on with whatever you were doing for that. They were saying to me it's been a slow process, but, sort of we're almost out the other side with that now that you can start to see, well, finally, I'm starting to feel better. I still feel tired, though, around you. Is that sort of something that's still troubling you, that every now and then you get this wave of tiredness where you just need to find a seat to sit on?
A wave of what? I'm sorry?
Do you get these waves of tiredness where you can't do anything but you need to sit down and have a rest?
Yes.
They were showing me that, and they were showing it to me in a way that don't ignore that. If you get that wave and you can sit down, even if it's only for 5 minutes, that's really important, because what you're doing is then listening to your body, honoring that, and then you can get up and then you can go again. That will be the quickest way to sort of to complete the final part of this healing, of getting this, health situation under control. So that's a good thing. So
right. I was dealing with a mold issue in my house, and I think I'm finally got it all.
Right, yeah, but now I think we've got to let your body sort of catch up with that, like to do the final part of the healing, because that really made you quite ill.
It did. I'm surprised I'm even still here.
Well, yes, I am too, and I don't mean that to sound patronizing, but I mean, it was very, 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 very serious. And I think another month might have been a very different equation if you hadn't sort of discovered what the problem was. So you were very, very fortunate there that I think someone from the other side sort of gave you a bit of guidance there to sort of how to get to the bottom of this issue, which is a good thing. So during this time where you had, this difficult thing to overcome, has it become more clear to you who you can rely on in your life and who needs to be sort of let go of?
I really don't have any friends left that live here.
Right. But it's not
pretty
so
much
much about
alone all the time.
You what, sweetie?
I'm pretty much alone all the time. It's either me and my dog or me and my kid and my dog.
Okay. The reason I asked that, because they were sort of showing me that whoever was left now was, when you're saying there's not many people left now at all, was who you could truly rely on. But I do feel from next month that your whole life is going to start to open out again, is going to start to expand. I do actually feel you're going to start to bring in some new friends into your life. Was there one stage there where you thought about packing up and moving away from Florida?
I've been thinking very hard about it very, very much lately.
And is that directly relating to the mold in the property, or is it just a combination of everything?
A combination of everything.
Look, I'm not going to say it's not on
the final topper,
Right. Yes. Okay. Look, I'm not going to say it's off the table yet. What I'm going to suggest to you is, Toby, that from the month of August, everything will become very clear. And it may not be on August 1, but what I'm saying is as we move into the month of August, then things will become very clear. If you are meant to leave Florida, it will become overwhelming. It'll be sort of like this is so right that I can taste it, I can feel it, I just know. Wait until you get that sort of signal. Don't try and sort of preempt what your final decision's going to be. I want to see you use the rest of this month to really just sort of listen to your body, sit down, rest when it's tired, sleep when you need to, release any tears or emotion. I mean, you could be sitting there and watching the television and all of a sudden you feel like laughing and you're not watching something that's funny. Then don't think, am I losing my mind? Because you're not. What's actually happening is we're just sort of releasing a lot of pent up old emotions and old thoughts and old things, and they've got to be released on the physical. And this is part of your final healing, Toby. So just go with it. Even if you're watching, the worst bit of the news and you feel like burst out laughing and it's not a laughing matter, just go with that. Because I just sort of feel this next 2 to 3 weeks is so important. If you can just do what your body suggests and go with it, we will get the clarity that you so rightly deserve about what the next steps are in your life so much quicker. I know Florida's on the coast, but I was sort of seeing if you were to leave there, I felt you would go much further north. Is that sort of on the radar for you?
There's some possibilities. I mean, I don't have a particular area picked out, but yes, I do want to go north. I do want to get away from the heat.
Okay. That's all they were showing me when I asked, and they just showed me sort of like, I roughly know where Florida is on the map, and they just showed me you were going direct north. I can't give you any clearer indication than that, but, if that's what's been in your mind, that, definitely go north, well, that's what's going to happen. But I felt it would be a little bit inland. I didn't feel it was right on the coast was what I got. Anyway, Toby, I hope that's helped you. That's where we've got to leave Toby now. We've come to the end of the show. So I hope this week you use the time to really start to heal yourself and listen to what your wounded or inner child is telling you, or the areas of your life that you need to heal. We can all start to take notice of what that is. Let's not waste this Chiron in Aries. Let's make it work for us so that then we can work we can help other people. And don't forget, please follow the guidance of your local authorities. We all are in this together. We do need to beat this COVID-19, and we do need to make decisions and choices for us as individuals and our close family members and our friends. And please stay safe. And if you are sick, please get tested. We all need to try and beat this as quickly as we can. And until next week, have a great week and bye for now.
Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, enlightening television. Welcome. Time for Sacred Sessions with Jenna Harmon. Live from JennaRoseHarmon.wixsite.com/Jenna Harmon Psychic Me. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/Psychic Radio. Or one of our websites, AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Sacred Session on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Good morning and welcome to another Sacred Session. I'm Jenna Harmon, Psychic Medium. I come from you live this morning, Sydney, Australia, where it's a little bit chilly. Actually, this morning we've had quite a bit of rain here, so I love the rain. It brings cleansing, clearing, and just refreshes and rejuvenates everything. It's actually the 7th show for me this morning, and I actually love that because 7 is one of my favorite numbers. And I just thought for something a little bit different this morning, I thought I might actually set you guys up with a little bit of homework. When people come to me for a private session or a party session or any sort of session, really, I tend to give people homework, and really it's the same homework, so don't worry. It's not like you're going to have volumes and volumes. It's not going to be months and months of, tasks and things like that. But basically what I try and do is I try and empower people. I like to give people a way and a means to connect or to start to connect and talk to those loved ones in spirit, their own spirit guides, and also to connect with their own animals that have passed. Everybody and everything with the soul goes to the same space. So basically what I get people to do is either in your mind or as in to say out loud, whether you talk to your loved ones out loud or within the mind, you basically ask them to start showing you a symbol. You ask them to show you a symbol so that you know that they are personally trying to connect to you and that they are personally around you. So, for example, I might say to my father in spirit, can I please next time you want to connect with me, next time you're around, can you please send me a blue balloon or a yellow bird or whatever it is that connects personally between me and him so that I know he is trying to communicate with me. And it literally is as simple as that. You tell your loved ones in spirit your password or their code, their symbology. It might be a feather, it might be a button, it might be a coin. You tell them what you would like so that you know that they are personally around you. And you try not to tell anybody this password, by the way, especially a reader, so that when you do get your private message returned, you know exactly how authentic it is and how sacred it is. And it's literally how we start to talk to our loved ones in spirit through symbols, signs, numbers, dates, songs. They can come through in many, many ways. But today we're going to have a sacred session, and we're going to have a sacred session with Kelly in Cape Coral, Florida. Hello, Kelly. How are you this morning?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's awesome. How can I help you this morning, my love?
I just wanted to connect with some loved ones if that was possible. And I also wanted to know if you could give me some advice. I am thinking about going back to school and changing careers, and I wanted to know if what you saw in that.
Well, I'll address the career changing one first, but I did write a few things down before we actually had our session today. So I'm going to give you those two because I do find that when I'm sitting here and I'm jotting things down on my pad, they can be for you anyway. So I will give you all of that. But basically, I want to encourage you to make this change, sweetheart. There's something inside you that needs something new. There's something inside you that's not being fed, not being allowed out, so to speak. So there's this humanitarian, this giving, this service feel around you. And I don't feel like I'm able to do this currently. I'm not saying you're in a bad place. You could be in a job that you've been in for quite a while, and it's fine. It's paying the bills. It's doing its job. But I don't feel fulfilled, darling. I feel like there's this need inside of me to be doing something more, being more creative, being able to tap in and kind of hit where my heart expands, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
Yeah, so I want to encourage you to do that. And I do want to say to you, I feel like there will be messages, signs and directions that are going to come and kind of lead you to where maybe the next step is for you. So with the study, all those sort of things, I do feel you will receive encouragement through signs, symbols. I call them signposts, kind of leading us down our direction. And I do believe that. Now, sweetheart, I would like to say that I do want to say to you that there's quite a few people in spirit around you, to be quite honest. I kind of feel like I want to tap into maybe three to five different energies around.
Okay.
So it makes me feel like you may have quite a few people in the spirit world, or you may come from a large family in the spirit world. But I do want to say that there's very much around you. I also want to say that I want to connect to the dog, to be quite honest. So I don't know if you've had a dog, but I feel like there's a special animal of a dog. I feel like it's a dog, that also needs to be acknowledged. I feel like it's a brown dog. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into dog so much, but I will say this. I want to say that I definitely want to acknowledge the grandmother figure. I do feel it's very feminine, so I feel like I may be connecting to mum's side of the family, to be quite honest. I also want to say, I don't know if it's the smell of the rose, the color of the rose, or the rose itself as a sign, symbol, or flower for you. But this lovely lady comes in spirit. I also want to acknowledge, though, is there a younger male spirit in the world of spirit for you, darling?
Okay, yeah, I've lost a lot of friends. And that's funny you mentioned roses because I've been smelling like flowers lately when I'm not around them.
Well, there is your sign and confirmation, Kelly, my love. Um, they're just coming through for me to reconfirm to you, my special friend, that they are definitely trying very hard to communicate with you. Now, please, when I say trying hard to communicate, they are communicating with you. So don't go, oh my
Okay.
God, they're trying and I'm not getting it. You are getting it, sweetheart. This is just a
Mhm.
validation of for you. You have your own gifts, honey, that they are trying to start to communicate with and connect with. I feel like there's a healing presence with you, my love. So it makes me
Mhm.
feel like there's a very big healing modality that could come from you, my special friend. And I say special friend because I feel like there's a special path that is opening up to you. So I don't know if this is your introduction kind of to your new life or what will become your new life or how your new life looks, darling. But I feel like this is an introduction. I feel like you have always been special. I don't know if you dream. I don't know if you see, smell, taste, touch. It doesn't really matter. But they're telling me you have the ability to be of service with the spirit world as well as those of us humans walking around out there. So there must be this awesome, as I said to you, there is a healing compound here that comes from you. I would like to say that the word grace comes up for you, my sweet. So it makes me feel in your energy that there's this beautiful generosity, this beautiful humanitarian heart that comes in from around you. I would like to say that I want to acknowledge there's the younger male in spirit. I also want to say that I don't know if you or someone very close to you has unfortunately lost some little spirits during your journey, but I want to say that I want to at least connect to a little female spirit around you. And I also want to
Okay.
say that I also want to acknowledge that I feel as though there's a younger female of your own contemporary age. So it makes me feel like there was either a friend, a sister, a cousin, someone of your own age, though, sweetheart,
Yeah,
around you.
my sister.
Okay, sweetheart. And I feel like she's the one that kind of brings forward the little spirit with her. So whether it was yours or hers, I will say to you, she comes forward. I get the number 4 very clearly with her and you. So I have to
Okay.
say it's either family of 4, the month of April, or something to do with the number 4, sweetheart. I also want to say to you, I bring white flowers to you from your sister. So she's telling me
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
is
I
at
just actually I went to her grave this weekend and I left white flowers in her grave.
bless you, baby. Bless you. She comes through very, very strongly right now, and she's got a lot of emotion. And let me tell you, I don't ever really get emotional anymore. So she's coming through with a lot of love. I'm tearing up. This is not something I do very much anymore. So I'm going to tell you, this is giving me chills all over my body, sweetheart. This is what you needed. This is what's needed to be needed. This connection, these messages right now are going to change everything. It's going to give you the confidence to go forward, my love. It's going to give you the
Mm.
confidence to know that you're getting your messages and that your loved ones are very much around you, sweetheart. I want to say there's a big capital A. So I don't know where that fits in 100%. I will have to say if there's anything quickly you want to know, we've got a couple of minutes left, but that's about it, sweetheart. So I really want to touch on anything that could really serve you right now. She comes through with green, a lot of green. So there's healing. I felt like I saw a frog. Please forgive me, but I did. I thought I saw a frog. Um, but please, please hold on to that. It could be a totem. It could come up and make some
Okay.
sense actually. But listen to me, sweetheart. She wants you to look at the rainbows. I see rainbows all of a sudden. I'm telling her I'm going to have to leave you guys in a minute. And all of a sudden she gave me big rainbow. So I want you to know that regardless of how she came to be on the other side, she is at peace. She is trying to communicate with you and will continue to communicate with you, my darling. She is very much around you. She sends you so much love. She wants you to play the music. I don't know if there's a song you guys connect to, or you feel like this is you or her or a message or whatnot, but she's telling you to play the music and listen to the lyrics. Kelly, I can't thank you enough, sweetheart. It was a very strong connection today for you. I hope that you take your love with. I'm so sorry it's been such a quick one. But Kelly, I send you so much love, my love. And I thank you so much for allowing me to connect with your lovely, beautiful sister in spirit world today. She's very much around you strongly, darling. I have no doubt she will walk with you forever. Oh, much love to you, my darling. Take care.
Okay, thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Kelly. Oh, it was a strong one today, people. The tears don't usually come anymore. I've been doing this for quite a few years and I've built up quite a bit of tolerance, so it must have been a very strong one this morning. Listen, know that your loved ones are always around you. If you do have an opportunity to do your homework, start to give them their signs and symbols to let you know that they're communicating with you. And just like Kelly, having these beautiful signs and symbols come through from your loved ones can touch your heart and really bring you personal healing like you have no idea how potent it is.